Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. People say I do a lot of air guitar, some air drumming. Never done some air pianoing, so I'm air pianoing this morning. Starting to try to get a little creative. Hall of Fame, baby. Happy Monday. Hope everyone's doing well today. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. How is everyone doing today? Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Frank, see you there. Good morning. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope everybody's looking forward to having a great week. Hope everybody is excited about what this week's going to hold. And we're in March, and I kind of like this because it's, we're coming at the end of that first quarter, right? The last quarter month. And I'm really excited for what March is going to hold. Had a great February. Like I said, had the baby, had a lot of great things I accomplished that I wanted to do business-wise. So I'm really excited to see what this month holds, and I'm really excited for March because this is kind of a transition in some of the things I'm doing. But I wanted to talk today about kind of a concept and an idea, and like I said, having my fourth kid is interesting, seeing that baby, that new life. But I also have my oldest son who's 10, and he's at that age where he's beginning to question a lot of things and wanting to know how things work and what they do. And one thing that he asks me, very often lately, and I'm sure when you guys were kids, you probably did the same thing, or even if you have kids, they probably ask you this, is every time we get in the car, Dad, how do you know how to drive? Like, where'd you learn how to drive? And I told him, well, Grandpa actually taught me how to drive, and I practiced, and great grandpa taught me how to drive as well a little bit, and everybody kind of pitched in, and then eventually I knew how to drive. And then, he says, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yep, Grandpa taught you. And then the next thing he asked me was, well, how do you always know where we're going? It seems like when you get in the car, you always know how to get here, and you know how to get there, and you know the streets, and you know where we're going, and you know what to do. And I said, well, from driving around all these years, right? I've been driving since I'm 16. I'm 37. That's 21 years of driving. Like, I know from that experience. And then I said, and then if I don't know where I'm going, right, thankfully we have now in this generation, we have GPS, right? So if I don't know where I'm going, I put it into the navigation in my car, or I put it into my iPhone, and it tells me where I need to go. And he says, okay. And then it's funny, as I explain this stuff to him, he also says sometimes when we're going somewhere, if he sees the navigation on in the car, I love this that he does, he goes, Dad, you don't need that navigation. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. Why? Because he sees me as an expert, right? He knows that I know how to drive. I explained to him who taught me how to drive, so I have that credibility of grandpa and great-grandpa. Well, they're really smart, so they must have done a good job, and he sees me as the expert. And I think one of the things that we sometimes take for granted, I know in my entrepreneurial journey and in business, I've done this, is that you sometimes know more than you realize, right? Whatever you do, whatever your business is, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in a career position, you are an expert in what you do. And there's someone who doesn't know what you do. Why, when we go to parties, I went to St. Mark's Carnival this weekend, you see a lot of people and they're asking, well, what are you doing? What's your job? That's always the question you ask, because it gives somebody the opportunity to explain something that they know really well. And one thing I think we do in business is we forget that. We forget that we're an expert or we're a natural, and we don't realize that gives us a lot of opportunity, And I played the song Hall of Fame before this because when we look at, great athletes, or we look at people that have done great things, and we almost say the best athletes make it look easy, right? They make it look like it comes natural, right? Everybody wants to mimic Michael Jordan and mimic his moves and mimics what he does because he makes it look so easy and so natural, but we know there's a lot of hard work that goes behind that. And I think it's important to remember that in our lives, when we look at our careers, we have sort of a natural ability, right? You are a entrepreneur, you've started a business, you're a realtor, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, whatever you're doing because you studied it, you wanted to do it, you had some sort of natural talent that came along with it, you fostered that natural talent, right? So you got somebody to teach you, just like I got somebody to teach me how to drive. And then the important thing I think we have to look at too, what we don't know, how do we fill those gaps, right? Do we find, what's our navigation? What's our GPS in our business, in our everyday? Where do we turn to get that information, whether it's books, videos online, coaching, training, whatever it may be? How do we fill that gaps of where we don't know? And the other important thing to remember too is that, and I'm sure we've all met this person, right? When you ask somebody what do they do for a living, they start explaining it to you on the highest level, right? Like, oh, well, I'm an engineer and I handle system 23B that we sell, and what it does is route, connector 36A, and they start talking on such a high level that you have no idea what they're doing. So I think it's important too to remember, even though we're an expert, when we're bringing people in, we want to be able to communicate what we do on a level that they're going to be able to understand, but we want to convey that confidence of that knowledge that we have. When I taught, it was always like that, right? When you're a teacher, you're the expert in the classroom. You know a lot about the subject area, and the kids see that, but they're very green and brand new to that, so you have to teach them the basics and build that up. So I think that's an important concept to remember too, that balance, right? We can't be too extreme. We can't be too down here. We can't have no confidence in what we do, but we can't be overconfident that we're not able to bring people in and be able to explain those things and go in that direction. We have to be able to teach. We have to be able to allow people to grow. So hope you guys appreciate this today. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone that's turning in. Make sure if you're here, appreciate the comments. Like when you guys give me the likes, the thumbs up. Love when you guys leave the comments. Share with me maybe who are some of your teachers, right? Who are some of the experts in your industry that you've learned from? And more importantly, guys, I'd love to hear, what do you guys do? Really excited for all of you to reach out to me. A lot of new connections. Share with me what you guys do. Share with me a little bit about what you guys do and what your expertise is and what comes natural to you guys. And hey, if you're just tuning in for the dancing, which I know some of you told me you just like coming here to see what song I dance to, let me know. Just give me a comment, dancing, here for the dancing. All right, guys, have a great Monday. Get out there, achieve your goals, make it great. Share the video too if you liked it. Ready? Here we go. We gotta wait for the chorus. We did the whole thing. See, if you stuck it out to the end, you got some karaoke. The world's gonna know.